So this is why I say he's a science denier, and he believes in stuff that defies the laws of physics. When we do an experiment, is the Earth moving? No. But guess what? It's an illusion. Gravity is real, but it doesn't map on the reality. There's dark matter there, right? You think it's not there, but it is there. It's an illusion. You understand what I'm saying? They're trying to convince you to believe in illusions, all right? Don't let them do it. Just because they have the word PhD in front of their name, it does not mean what you think it means, all right? It means pastor. It means pastor, preacher, Tony.
Can I make one quick point?
You want to put a bow on something? I'll give you like 15, 30 seconds here.
Okay. So the, sorry, let me find my window.
I have a feeling that this is not going to be a 30-second bow, is it, PhD?
It should be reasonable.
Reasonable? Okay, well, we'll see what your thoughts are on reasonable. Go ahead there, Tony.
Okay, this is how we map things in the night sky. You will note that there's a thing called the celestial equator that is 90 degrees away from the pole. That is 90 degrees away from the pole.
So how is this 90 degrees away from the pole? No matter how you orient yourself, you can't get 90 degrees.
That makes no sense on a flat Earth. The equator is not a plane. In observation, the celestial equator is a plane.
You just literally said the equator is not a plane, while there on screen is the equator represented as a plane, and then 2 seconds later said the celestial equator is a plane. There is so much wrong with what he just said. We got to unpack that, but let's hear that again.
That makes no sense on a flat Earth. The equator is not a plane. In observation, the celestial equator is a plane.
Tony's trying to show how something's impossible on a plane, while literally showing a plane on screen. This is supposed to be his globe, okay? The celestial equator is where we mapped all and every latitude from. They all came from a flat plane at the celestial equator. So the celestial equator is a flat plane. Okay, this is for flat earthers, because a lot of us are going around saying that latitudes are angles to Polaris, which is useful and is an approximate latitude, but that doesn't help you in the southern hemisphere. So if we're debating, being technical, latitudes are exactly angles from the celestial equator, or angles from the plane of the equator.
You will note that there's a thing called the celestial equator that is 90 degrees away from the pole. That makes no sense on a flat Earth. In a flat Earth, that can't be true. It's a cylinder.
He's literally projecting. On a globe, it would be a cylinder. And look, he draws a cylinder on a flat plane. But look at this globe. So in reality, you'd be laying on the ground on a globe. They have to chop a cylinder in half or a globe in half to even get a 90 degrees to Polaris. It's not even possible to get a 90 degrees from the GP of Polaris on a globe without the flat plane. So to get their globe model to work, they have to reorient the observer from their reality to match a flat plane reality. So think about this. The way they're representing their globe, if you had a bunch of people standing on the equator all around it, Polaris would be straight overhead, every one of them. And what does that make? It makes a cylinder. I mean, Tony's literally projecting and showing us an animation of his projection. So in his confusion, he draws a cylinder right above the equator on a flat plane, so for everybody standing on the equator, their zenith will be 90 degrees to Polaris's GP. So it represents reality perfectly. Like, I don't think he thought this one through. In fact, I don't think he could have done much worse here.
So how do railroads touch in the distance then, if it's Euclidean?
We'll carry on.
Exactly. It makes no sense. Let's carry on.
That's perspective.
It makes no sense.
That's perspective. They don't touch.
Yes,
they never
so
do. They just appear to.
Thank you. So you're talking about the perspective of where we see stars. Perspective is altered by the azimuthal field of vision. There's no Euclidean geometry. You're trying to calculate it like it's Euclidean, and perspective will change. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. You're
ding,
asserting that without evidence. You're just asserting
no,
that.
There's
no
evidence on this. You
okay, then present it.
You brought up last second.
Present the evidence. You just
I'll do it on my after show.
Present
I'll present the evidence on my after show. How about that? Pull up on my show after. I'll present it to you, Tony.
No, present it now.
No, I'm not doing that now. Ryan is trying to end the show. Why are you so rude?
All right. If we, yeah, I was
It's
gonna
all,
say, we
it's
are
all
at the
very
point of.
well for him. This happened last time, Ryan. This happened last time. We got into question and answer, and then Whitsett was all about azimuthal field division, azimuthal field division, and he had not demonstrated it. He had no evidence for it. He hadn't even properly fucking described it, and all of a sudden it was evidence for the flatness of Earth. They do this constantly. They just introduce stuff at the last second.
Now, at the beginning of this, he asked Ryan if he could do a last-second presentation, and then tells Ross all we do is bring stuff up at the last second. I'm starting to think all this man does is project.
Without having established any factual basis for introducing it.
I responded to you. You introduced that at the last second.
All right.
Hope you guys enjoyed listening to me rag on PhD Tony. And if you enjoy my content and you want to see more of it, you want to help buy me some time, if you got it like that, help a brother out. Or if you want to pitch in on some tests I have planned, on screen is 2 ways to do so. Thank you for watching.